Welcome to another episode of Ask Dubey. As always, this show is a presentation of Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION, Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Now, before we get started, let's jump into a non-Oilers topic, and that was the Stadium Series game between the Lightning and the Bruins, and what a game it was. For anybody that didn't tune in, we had a rare, although I guess not so rare because it was the second one in a couple weeks, but a goalie fight. And it was an awesome one. Swayman and Vasilevskiy teeing off at center ice, and I love it. I love that they let him go. I love that it happened the Stadium Series. Obviously, nobody gets hurt. Vasi caught him with a few lefts, but the even more unique part of that whole situation is they both just put their gear on and went back playing. That's the tricky part with goalie fights is it's great to let them go, but most likely you're losing your starting goaltender because it's probably not the first fight, so they're automatically thrown out. Well, in this situation, it was the only fight. So we got to see them go toe-to-toe at center ice. Both of them put their gear back on and got back in the net. Now, I don't know what that would be like. I know when I played, I like to be kind of calm and relaxed in there. Being in a fight obviously gets the adrenaline and the heart rate through the roof. So trying to jump back in there and play right away was probably difficult. Vasilevskiy doing a better job than Swayman, although Swayman played extremely well. But it was a great fight. I love that they both looked for it. There wasn't really much going on in front of the net. Little bump to Swayman, little push, and he immediately looked down the ice. Vasilevskiy was on his way down in no hesitation, and I just loved that the linesman didn't get in their way. Gave the people what they wanted, and we had a good old-fashioned goalie fight. Now, a couple Russians involved here, Vasilevskiy and Bobrovsky going at it. Maybe we see these a little more often. Probably not, but in situations where they can fight and get back in the net, I think that's better. Like I said, I think the only real deterrent on this is more that you're losing your starting goalie for a game that, especially right now in the season, means a lot. But anybody that didn't watch the Stadium Series, you certainly missed out. For the game in general, 10 goals scored, 4-goal comeback by Tampa Bay. But most exciting for me was the goalie fight. It was awesome. And with that, let's jump into the questions. All right, first question comes from Jespin09. Is a blowout more often due to players or goalies? That's a good question. I don't think there's a direct answer for it. I think it can be both. The goalie can cause it. There can be, bad goals at bad times, a couple bad goals early on. That's when a goalie can kind of cause it where they're contributing, I guess, to the chaos. But it's usually a combination of both. The goalie has a part of it with letting in goals that maybe shouldn't go in or in quick succession, and the team follows that up by not having a line go out and get things settled down. You just need, sometimes when games are getting out of hand, you need to go out and just simplify and just calm things down, not try to go score a goal right this second, but just try to get the game under control. And sometimes teams go out, players go out, they try to force it, or they maybe get caught up in trying to run around and make a hit, get in a fight, maybe take a penalty, take a couple penalties, get frustrated, and things just kind of start to snowball, and pucks end up in the back of the net. And so, of course, a goalie is often to blame for a blowout in some sort of way if there's tons of goals going in. But I've certainly seen games that don't necessarily work that way. I mean, where there's just constantly grade A scoring chance after grade A scoring chance, and you can watch them and say, well, yeah, I mean, some nights he's going to save that, but these are great scoring chances. And yes, he's in there to stop those, but we're not talking about wrist shots going in from far or bobbling rebounds. It's just the way the game's gone. So it's almost always a combination of both. But I think for teams, I talk to my younger kids and our teams, when things start to you could feel it on the bench when they start to kind of unravel and things get out of control. It's just getting out there for even everybody go for a shift, a full round of shifts of just getting things settled and back in control. Let the game get in control before it gets out of control. Because when it starts to go, goalies can obviously get pulled and get out of it and go on the bench, but that doesn't, all the players can't get out of it. They got to continue playing. So the more you can just settle things down, and again, not try to take a parade to the penalty box, because that always adds to the chaos as well. But rarely is it just the goalie, and rarely is it just the team. Okay, on to the next question from Leah Mack. Can players check out a bit leading up to the Olympic break? Yeah, I think that not on purpose. Nobody's going to mentally be like not focused on these games. The NHL is their job, and especially at this time of the year with how important games are and how tight everything is, nobody's going to voluntarily check out before the Olympics. But the Olympics is a big deal. This is a big tournament. Guys are excited. It's been a long time since they've played. It's also a big trip going over there. It's not a short tournament. This is, as soon as the NHL games are over, they're getting on a plane. They're flying halfway across the world. They're going to be there for a couple weeks. It's a long competition. This is a big deal, and it's a big event that's approaching. And it's really hard. It's a mental battle to not look forward to it. And if things are rolling well and you're playing great, then it's a whole lot easier to not worry about the Olympics and just play. But it is a challenge to not have something like that ahead of you. And if you have a couple games, maybe it's just 2 games, and it's not going well, to just start to think ahead and kind of look at this last 2 games of maybe just trying to get it over with. And we all know that doesn't work well. If you're just trying to get through an NHL game, the league's too good. You're probably not going to end up on the right side of it. So nobody does it on purpose. But again, it's a mental battle that I guarantee you every single player that's going to the Olympics is dealing with right now, of just trying to stay focused on the right now. But it's not easy to do. You imagine these players that are playing on Thursday night, and the second that game's over, their suitcase is probably already packed, and they're getting on a flight across the ocean to go play in the Olympics, play in the biggest event that's happened in a long time, and the NHL players are going back. So there's no possible way that their mind isn't somehow on the Olympics, and it's just how guys personally and also teams deal with it as well, because some teams have a bunch of guys going, and some teams only have 1 or 2, and some teams have none. I don't think you can probably find them at the bottom of the standings, but there's no way to get around it. It's just having to try to deal with it. It's just something extra that they got to deal with, and guys do their best. All right, next question or questions. I'm going to combine 2 here. One is from Oilers Lover 97. Interesting name. Did the Oilers make a mistake trading for Jarry? And the next question is from Hudson 1755. What would you grade Tristan Jarry's play with the Oilers so far? So both similar questions, and how interesting things change quick. It was just last week that we were talking about how would I grade the Oilers tandem and how great they're doing and how awesome this is. And we have a couple off games, and we're right back onto the did they make a mistake? Now, did they make a mistake? No. Is Stuart Skinner playing great in Pittsburgh? Absolutely. But we've talked about this kind of just needing to be a change of scenery. There was just no real end game for Stuart Skinner in Edmonton, and he needed a breath of fresh air. He needed to go somewhere else because there was just no way out. It was the questions were constantly going to be coming back. It was too long of a stretch of inconsistency. There was no real, unless he went and rattled off 40 wins in a row, there was no real win. Every time something went sideways a little bit, the questions were always going to come back. And so I don't think it's surprising to see Stuart Skinner playing well. I'm excited for him. Obviously, the teammates are as well, because they're in the Eastern Conference, so it's not something they got to worry about standings-wise. And he was obviously a very loved player on the team. So the guys are going to be happy for him doing his thing in Pittsburgh. And Jarry's been fine. He's been good. Listen, there's ups and downs. It's still new. I know it's been a little while for the trade. It doesn't matter. It's still new. He's still learning how the guys play in front of him, learning when they play well and when they don't play well. And that's really the thing, is that as a group, is Tristan Jarry a top goalie in the league? No, he's not. And neither is Connor Ingram. Are they a great tandem? Yes, they're a great tandem. And so if the Oilers aren't going to play well defensively, if they're not going to play solid defensively, these guys probably aren't going to go steal them hockey games. They can, and they will, but we're not talking about a Bobrovsky or Vasilevskiy or Sorokin or any of these guys who you can expect to do that. If they're not playing well in front of them, then these are probably the results they're going to get. But they're good as a tandem, and they're good enough that if you play well, they're going to give you a great chance to win. And that's really all you can expect from them, kind of from anybody. But I just think that it's healthier mentally for all Oilers fans if we don't get on this giant roller coaster again of a game-to-game basis or a 2-game, 3-game basis. They've shown some very positive things, what they can do when they work together. And now, do we want them, and do they need to as professionals and their job to go try to steal a game? Absolutely. But we can't jump on them right away if some goals start to go in. We have to look at the whole picture. And I think the whole picture is they've shown as a pair that they can play extremely well together for periods of time. And as a group, everyone needs to get more consistent. And if they can, then it's a good situation going forward. So if this stretch carries on longer, then yeah, there would be some concern there. And I don't know if the Oilers are looking to do more. I highly doubt it. When it comes to the goaltending position, I think that these guys have shown that they can both contribute and contribute together. Now, if this slide continues, things can change quickly come deadline time, because this is a team that's expected to win. But I'm not panicking about the Oilers. I don't think they made a mistake. I think that when the team plays better in front of them, these are both guys who are going to give you a good opportunity to win a hockey game on any given night. So I would expect that we'll start to see talk of a little more of last week on how well these guys are doing, rather than having to answer these questions this week. All right, that's it for another episode of Ask Dubey from my beautiful room in Secaucus, New Jersey. If you want, tune in to NHL Now. I believe it's on Sportsnet at 4 to 6 Alberta time, and I'll be on there on Thursday. Also, get your questions in. Don't forget your questions in with the hashtag AskDubey on any Oilers Nation social media platform or in the comments section below this video. I love your questions. Keep them coming in. And it's nice to have some variety to pick and choose from. If we don't get to your question, we'll get to it another time. This segment was brought to you by our friends at Wilhauk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn the Wilhauk name. Made from 100% pure Alberta beef, Wilhauk Beef Jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. It is so good. Wilhauk Beef Jerky gladly fills orders of any size. Find their beef jerky, sausage, and other products exclusively out of their Leduc location, or you can order it online. Get your jerky on. For more info, go to wilhawkbeefjerky.com.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.